Good morning, soccer fans, and welcome to the UWS Kickoff Show, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. This summer, we are excited and primed to get you ready for all the summer of soccer action in UWS and UWS2 by bringing you interviews, stories, and updates as we get you ready for soccer each and every weekend. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we want to remember the sacrifice for those who have given their lives in service of our nation. We know they put themselves in harm's way as they perform their duties, and we hold high respect for these Americans to which we owe so much. Today, we're talking about the matchup between Lone Star Republic and the San Antonio Athenians. And to help us get some insights on the match, joining us today, we have Jackie Cortez, who is the captain of Lone Star Republic, and Olivier Felpa and Jamie Erickson from the Athenians. But before we get started today, let's review a few matches from week 3 of the summer of soccer for UWS. So in week 3, the UWS debuted for both clubs, FC Wichita and the KC Courage, and it produced a thriller as FC Wichita were victorious over the KC Courage with a 2-1 win. FC Wichita pulled ahead early on a goal from Brooklyn Entz after KC Courage failed to clear the ball. Then they doubled the lead shortly after the halftime interval as Laura Maria beat the keeper. And then to finish off for the Courage to get a goal, it was Sari Ortiz Casillas who scored on an assist from Lawton Wilson in the 66th minute to pull the home side back within one. Despite the Wichita's defense kind of sliding to try and clear the goal line, but in the end, Wichita held firm. Jamie Reichenberger finished with an impressive 10 saves, and they even hit the post with just a few minutes remaining, which would have done a 3-1 win and kind of canceled out the Courage. Also, shout out to the FC Wichita player who in the 50th minute had to do a flip throw. Couldn't figure out who it was, but to do that in a match, it's actually really it takes a lot. I mean, I don't think I would try a flip throw even if I could do one, especially in a match where there's so much at stake in your first match in the league. The Connecticut Fusion played Scorpions SC. Fusion 4, Scorpions 1. The Fusion showcased a great deal of offensive power once again, following a 10-goal output the week before, adding 4 more to best the Scorpions 4-1. The match began with a spark in the 12th minute as Tori Sosa scored to give the Fusion the lead. But Scorpions responded right after, and Alexandria Giovino took a pass from Jenna Bike and equalized for the home side, leveling it at 1. From there, Fusion took control. Tiffany Weimer followed up on her hat trick from last week with another goal thanks to Jordan's second assist of the game. And Jordan found the back of the net herself to put her team up 3-1 before half. Chanel Johnson put the game in hand with her debut goal for the league in the 68th minute. All right, everybody. So we are going to be talking this morning with Jackie Cortez. Their game has been moved. So originally the game was at Green Hill School. It has been moved to Summit High School just outside Arlington, Texas. The start time is at 8 p.m. Central. So, I don't think my guests or my other, hold on. Oops. Technical difficulties, everybody. Sorry, I forgot to throw the link. Actually, I did think I threw the link, but I'm not sure what's going on. My link did not get over to my co-host this morning. I was wondering why my co-hosts weren't there. They are listening. I know that. Give me 1 second here. Let me invite these two. Technical difficulties in the small world. All right, there we go. But I provided that. They're probably going to yell at me here in a minute as they jump on. If they jump on, probably upset with me. There he is. There he is. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I woke up at like 8:50 and was like, oh, no, I'm going to be late. And I wasn't late. So thank you on accident. But it was going great so far. I almost don't want to interrupt.
No, we got to interrupt. Jackie, poor Jackie's like back there. I'm so sorry, guys. This is on me this morning. I was up till midnight trying to put all this stuff together, and then I forgot there's actually a link you need. Jackie got the link. Olivier got the link. Jamie got the link, but
you know what?
The most important people didn't get the link.
The review of your KC Courage Wichita game, I thought you did a really good job. Thank you.
I needed my English accent. If I had the English accent, it would have been better.
Or at least a Watford shirt. Hey,
listen, I'm just going to be quiet the rest of the show. I'm going to let you two take over. But hey, we have a match today. And again, so today we have the Lone Star Republic. Let's bring up our guest today, Jackie Cortez from the Lone Star Republic, who is the captain of the side. Jackie, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the Kickoff show. How are you?
Good. How are you all?
We're so far so good. You guys, I haven't even really talked to you yet. I feel bad.
Yeah, basically.
So hey, let's get into some questions. You guys are now playing in your first match, but before that, I have to ask. During the summer of last year, Jackie, there was a bit of an incident where Casey Lloyd almost lost her job, but the team decided to only give her a $3 fine. How crucial of a moment was that for the fan to pitch in on a GoFundMe?
Oh man, we were all devastated. Honestly, we couldn't believe it, and some of us have been fined far worse than that, so it wasn't pretty fair.
Oh, see some turmoil already. I like it. We're causing chaos.
Yep.
So hey, Danny, Megan, let's get into some questions for Jackie so she can get ready for game day.
See, I am so excited. I have so many questions just about the club because it's such a mysterious, vibe, and we've seen it on the men's side and now at the women's side with like, what the heck is this team? Like, we have no idea, but the quality on the field we know is very high. I mean, looking at San Antonio Athenians tonight, they surprised me a bit with how much they beat FC Austin Elite by. I thought that would be a much tighter matchup. They obviously ran out as 3-0 winners. Did you guys see that and kind of put a little extra juice into preparing for this match? Is there kind of an extra heightened kind of get up for tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, we're right there with you. We were not expecting a whole lot from San Antonio. We honestly haven't really heard about them. And then once we started hearing their name all around the UWS, we were just like, whoa, who is this team? And now that we've heard about them and seen a little bit about them, we are, we were like, okay, we need to get it together and we need to, prepare for this match. And it's our first match too, so it can be a little intimidating, but we're excited for more competition, as we don't get a lot of competition here in Dallas, especially on the women's side. And so this is kind of a big step for us, and we're excited and we're looking forward to it.
So how have you kind of prepared for this match? The Athenians have played a couple of games now. They've also had preseason matches. So they are really quite in form at this point. How are you guys prepared for this matchup?
Yeah, so obviously we've been training a few times a week, and on top of that, we did have a few friendlies before. We did play Alacranes a few times, which they're in the UWS as well. And on top of that, we scrimmaged a few like U18, U17 club teams here. We did get to scrimmage the club team that won number 1 in the nation, which was really nice because it was a higher level, faster soccer, and that went well. So we've been getting a few games here and there, but like I said, the way competition works here, it's a little hard to get. So we got what we could for sure.
Jackie, I have to ask, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get started in this game? What have you been doing up until this point, and how do you continue to be at this level?
Yeah. So about myself or LSR general?
About you.
So I actually kind of came late into the game. I was maybe 13 when I started playing, and everyone was 5-7 years into the soccer. But I came in late and realized that this was a sport for me because I connected quick, picked up quick, and I grew up here in Dallas, Texas. Played here club my whole life. Went to Oklahoma Wesleyan University, and then came back to Dallas after and finished off here in Dallas. And at first, we have a group of girls from LSR actually that travel and play in a few tournaments here in Dallas, cash tournaments. We've played in Neymar Junior 5, and we've done a whole lot together. So we have a good, solid group of girls that have stuck through in this program, and just sticking in that has really kept me in the higher level of soccer. And then on top of that, whenever Lone Star Republic reached out and they were just like, we're trying to get a women's program going. I was like, sign me up. Like we need some soccer here in Dallas, especially women and competitively. So I've stuck around for a bit and just getting lots of training. We play like that solid group of girls that we have. We play like every day. We're in leagues all over Dallas. And so it's been fun to stay at that level while I can.
Do you think it plays an advantage to your guys' success on the pitch, playing together in these mini tournaments and having, it seems like you guys have a really good bond and connection. Does that help? Does that help with camaraderie and kind of the idea of where you need to be on the field at all times?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, this group of girls, we know each other so well off the field as much as we know on the field. And I think that gives us a big advantage. We do have, a big number of girls that, came back from college and are joining us and which is great and awesome. But I do think that's our big advantage, that we just know each other so well on the field that it's not like playing with a stranger or someone who played at a different school everyone has different types of soccer, especially schools. And so we stick together and we know each other so well. We know who's making the run, who's making the pass, who's not going to run to the ball, so it's a big advantage for sure.
And how would you kind of describe that playing style that you've got together as a team?
Yeah, so we're a pretty, I guess I'll just tell you guys, even if San Antonio hears, but we're a pretty high press team. And so we just, we have the energy and we have the speed. And I think that puts us in a good place especially for this match.
Yeah, I think that will be key to beating the Athenians. If you can win the ball higher up the field.
Correct.
That's good.
That has been what we've been focusing on, especially as that's kind of our coach's style, and we love that.
As far as, who's leading the team more emotionally, mentally, who is that on the pitch? Who's the captain? Who's kind of like bringing those two sides of where you've come from together? And then how is the coaching staff contributing to making that kind of unified team as well?
Yeah. So basically that solid group that we have, it's like 5-6 girls. And out of all of them, we have like 2 or 3 that are really, just they communicate us on the field. One of them is Madison Hall. Another one is Michaela, Kenny Kessler. These girls are girls that are, they just know where we need to be, what we need to do. And they're really good at communicating that to us. And so it's kind of nice to have that because we have a defender, we have a forward, we have like someone at every place communicating and talking. And so those are our leaders for sure. And what was the other question you asked?
No, I mean, just with the coaching staff, how
staff.
are they kind of helping that too?
Yeah, well, our coach, she is quite an interesting one. She's first of all awesome and amazing on the field, and then on top of that, she's just she's one of those coaches where we trust her. Like we know what she's doing, no matter how she says it or the way she approaches it, we trust her for sure. So we always know she's going to make the right call.
It feels like everyone in that club is interesting, and I do.
Yeah, we're a little off.
It's fun, and it's a cool little vibe, and it's also Richardson, Texas. It's what you expect. But
for sure.
Do your jerseys still have airline as the sponsor? Is that still a thing?
I don't know because we're wearing new ones, and we haven't tried them on. But Tyler keeps things interesting, so maybe.
He does. There's always something. And for those who don't know, I literally mean there's like a font with airline across, and that's the jersey. I'm not saying like, oh, I just forgot the airline. That's what it says. Like they like you said, Tyler keeps it interesting. He's a fresh face in the lower league soccer world, and we love him for that. And we're very excited that he's on the women's side too, because like you said, it's missing. And then the other thing I want to point to, I've talked a lot, sorry, but the cool aspect of having those players that have kind of come from that core of traveling and playing in those tournaments, it's something I've run into, that there's kind of a big stigma around that people kind of really underestimate your level of quality when you're coming from those tournaments. That's kind of my local area in Georgia. Atlanta Panthers is the new team out of there. And it's the same thing, a core of 7 or 8 of those tournament players who are at such a high level of quality and are about to really raise the level, not only in their team, but in that whole Southeast Conference. And people don't realize it. They're like, oh, they were just doing these like amateur things. I'm like, no, there's like an immense level of quality in those tournaments. And you develop a level of physicality, of ability, you know, in tight spaces to be able to take touch. I mean, there's so much that grows you in that environment that they're about to really raise the level of in this league too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely, I never used to do cash tournaments. And when I started doing them or even just tournaments in general, I realized that some of the best players find these tournaments and they get their, you know, we have a lot of sponsors for those tournaments. So we're never, you know, investing our own money in them. But these sponsors, they find the best of the best because they want to win. And you come up across some of the best players, especially in Neymar. When we played in Neymar, we actually made it all the way to the semi, and it was quite intense. Like the competition was as high as I've ever seen it. And so it was fun. It's definitely been a challenge, but like you said, it's helping us develop as good players, and we're for that.
So Jamie, I have to ask, and then I'll let Megan sign us off here with the last question. If you guys win a few matches, is there some form of a guarantee that Tyler's going to shave that beard? Because that beard's looking like it needs a little help. Can we get a trim, Tyler?
We've tried, man. We've tried. We have tried everything, and it's somehow it doesn't happen for him. So I don't know if it's meant to be or what we need to do, but we need to come to an agreement for sure.
It still looks good, but come on, man. We got to shit your goalkeeper. You got to trim it down a little bit. We don't want your hands getting it, your gloves getting messed up, and you blame it on the beard.
Dude, Jonathan, calm down, man. You might get a fine. You gotta slow your roll over here.
I need a GoFundMe for a $4 fine. Megan, last question for Jackie before we let her get ready for game day.
Okay, so what are your personal goals this season? What are you hoping to achieve with Lone Star?
Yeah, so I would say that first is win. We are a winning team. We love to win, so that's a big goal. We definitely would love to win the match today. That's our first start. And I think just growth and develop as a team. It's been a little challenge, you know, growing on the women's side, which I'm sure every other team has faced. And so we just want more growth. We want more consistency. We want more girls to find out about us when they're in town. And so we're looking into growing this program, not just, you know, for the summer, but a year round. And so that's been a big goal for Lone Star Republic Women's.
Awesome. Well, Jackie, we appreciate giving us the time and the opportunity to chat this morning. Hey, good luck today. Hopefully the weather gets to stay a little dry, because we did talk with San Antonio this morning, whose training was ripped apart by some weather. In fact, the winds picked up and took the goals away. So
sounds about Texas for sure.
Always. Well, Jackie, good luck today. Have fun, and we will talk to you in a future show.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Jackie Cortez, with the Lone Star Republic as they get ready to face San Antonio Athenians. Before we talk with San Antonio Athenians, I have to go back, Megan, and I got to ask this flip kick or this flip throw. Mm-hmm. How? I mean, you have to be pretty solid with your fundamentals on this.
Honestly, I replayed the moment in the game because I was sort of like, wait, what? Did she just do that? Like, it didn't actually produce anything in this game. But I have high hopes that, like, she's going to get an assist with this kind of throw at some point of the match. It was on the far side of the field. She just kind of casually went and got the ball and then flipped and threw it in sort of, like, near the penalty box. And I was like, okay, I feel like just setting the mark, you know, that's something that, like, just makes them stand out a little bit. And, you know, we haven't seen too much of FC Wichita. So I feel like this is kind of a talking moment that they're kind of like, hey, you know, we have something about us.
Danny, is it a good thing to have a flip throw as a thing to talk about, or should it be the result?
Well, see, and that's an excellent point Megan brings up, because, like, now that's a reputation of them. We knew nothing of them coming in, and now we know them as the flip throw team. So, I mean, to answer your question, like, is that good? Is it not? I don't know, but personally, I like that as a player. I like that risk rather than a Panenka in front of goal, rather than a Balotelli move in the MLS All-Star game where you get subbed off because you missed some bizarre chance like 2 yards from goal, because it's not a goal-scoring opportunity, right? If you messed that throw-in up, oh, well, go back and defend and win the ball back. You know, like you're not wasting a goal by taking that kind of risk and making that cool move that you really want to prove yourself. Whether it needed to be done or not, I'm not sure. But I like the timing in which it was used. The fact that it was a throw-in That's smart to me on match day one. You don't want to give up a potential goal, but you do want to send that message. I think they've sent the message, whether it's good or not. I think it's cool. I think we're here talking about it, so they've accomplished something, and we'll see if they can translate that to the table.
So, hey, let's. We've had some week 4 matches already. Lansing United taking a point away, coming back from behind against Midwest United. I got to sit down and watch that match with my daughter yesterday, and she was really impressed with the uniforms. But it wasn't about the uniforms. It was the come from behind stealing of points on Lansing. Is this the time we see Lansing start to kind of bring it together? Does this point mean more to them than Midwest United losing that point, or those 2 points, I should say?
I mean, does it mean more? Probably not, but it's really crucial because I mean, you can play those games of like, who did it mean more for? It means a lot for both sides. But for Lansing especially, like that's a big point. You know, they were going up against really tough opposition up until now, and to grab that first point to get some kind of positive result, it is a big step for them, and kind of an affirmation of what we've been talking about, which was they've just kind of been on the wrong end of close matchups against really good teams. Now they're starting to kind of find their way back as they face easier opposition. That draw at least gives them something to stand on as they go forward to kind of build momentum from. I still think, you know, whenever you split those points, you know, it's going to affect both sides. You know, it's not that Lansing isn't the only storyline in that draw, but it's a big one. The fact that they get their first point, that definitely means something kind of mentally. You kind of get yourself off of that block.
Megan, one of the things I want to bring up with you, because we talked about it on Thursday night, was as you go, you get better or you get worse. We've seen Muskegon, right? Muskegon got just trounced, and yet they've started to put some things together. Is Lansing kind of in that same boat where they're starting to put things together?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, first loss of the season, that was a tough one to take. I don't think they were quite ready for that. And I think then that second game was almost like, this is now a mental test. How can you bounce back? And then they struggled again. And so at this point, they've got 1 point now, and it's something to build upon. I think that it's a big, big mental challenge for this team, because if you look at their players, it's not really a question of quality of the players. It's more, can we come together and mentally overcome these challenges and face this adversity together as a team? And I think it is coming. I think, you know, almost a late bloomer, as it were. Can we say that on week 4? Maybe. But yeah, I think things are coming together. I think this is the first point of many more to come.
The other match that we had was, and this is going to be a match in hot contests going forward. Detroit City, Corktown. Detroit City walks away with a 3-0 win. Not only did they walk away with a 3-0 win, they had some golazos, and maybe, just maybe, the best goal celebration I've ever seen at a baseball park. Danny, what do you think about this rivalry that seems to it's only going to get worse, I think?
Oh man, there's so much potential for a really cool derby here. I really do think that it's Detroit City's always going to bring, you know, Northern Guard supporters, and we've talked about them before. I'm not going to shut up about them because I mean, really, bar none, they are the best supporters in women's soccer. They're the best supporters on the men's side too, in all of lower league soccer. They just are. They're that passionate. They're that cool. They don't care if you like them. And most people don't. But again, literally, it doesn't. They would rather you hate them than not hate them, I think. They really just want you to hate them because they know they're going to go out and beat you on the day. So they have a lot of fun. I'm sure it is a nightmare in a fun way, you know, but I'm sure they're getting jeered all match long by Corktown, you know, in that 3-0 loss. That's an away match that actually has a real impact against you. You know, in a lot of lower league soccer, when you've got, you know, 50 people in a high school bleacher, it's like, okay, we're at our home ground. Maybe you had to travel 2.5 hours to get here, but outside of that, it's basically a neutral setting. That is never going to be something that anyone can say about a Detroit City match. So with all that as the backdrop, interesting. All right, we might have Steve was in here. I mean, it's a good shout, but like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know if they can touch Northern Guard. Anyway,
I'm still trying to get Steve to be the fourth member of our team here. So
dude, he does. He needs to hop in here, man.
He needs to hop in on this this morning show.
Say it to my face, Steven. How about that? But no,
Megan's right here. Megan will say it for him.
That too. But no, I mean 3-0 win, it's deserved. Like you said, absolute golazos. And that fan culture, that kind of a little bit of a blowout territory in the match when they're both really competitive and will be at the top of this division. It is every possible ingredient for a fantastic derby recipe. And you've got that like geographical closeness too. I'm excited for the future of this fixture.
Megan, we talked about, kind of how rivalries help develop and build. What are your thoughts on this? And do you see this getting any better or any worse?
I see this getting better, but worse. Like, I don't know if you can compare the two. Like, this rivalry it's gonna get worse, but for us, that's better. Like, that is what we want. I mean, that celebration, can I just play at a baseball field so I can recreate that celebration, please? Like, I think that celebration just adds into the rivalry, like just small details like that. It's just going to excel this rivalry. A 3-0 loss for Corktown, they are not going to be happy. That was a convincing victory from Detroit. 3 solid goals, but also like a really, really solid performance. Like it could have been more. They looked really strong. So I don't think Corktown are going to be happy with this. That celebration, they're going to be offended by, and they're going to be back out to get back revenge.
Yeah, you just never know. I mean, the Northern Guard, they actually were subdued early on in the week when Corktown announced no flares, try to keep the fireworks. And I think they still came out and did everything they could. Ooh, I like it. See, Corktown already added in. There we go. I like it. Corktown, yes, it sure does. We're definitely looking forward to the next one. I'm excited. That's got me ready. I don't know about you guys, but having Corktown come out and say, "Hey, we're ready for this," they're paying attention. They know.
Yeah,
they got that red Sharpie. But I think in all, right, this is something that could grow, not just the rivalry of Corktown, Detroit City, but the Northern Guard saying, "All right, look, we've been challenged. We are going to follow this team." They play Chicago Mustangs today. I'm tuning in for that match. That's going to be one heck of a match to watch at Keyworth. The Chicago Mustangs making their debut today. But what other games have you guys gotten yourselves geared up for as we get into showtime here just in a few hours? Megan, you want to start us?
Yeah, there's just so many options. I'm looking at the Northeast this week, and I'm looking at Lancaster Inferno. They're taking on Brooklyn City. And Brooklyn City is coming off a 5-0 win. They beat Worcester Smiles pretty heavily, and obviously that's a good way to head into your next weekend. That's coming off of a 1-1 draw away at Long Island Rough Riders, if I can talk correctly. But those are their only 2 matches so far, so perfect. Their draw was away from home. They're looking like a pretty strong side. Now they've got to take on Lancaster, and that's going to be less than easy. They're headed to Millersville University. That's an away match for Brooklyn City. But they've impressed me so far. I think this is their chance to really take that next step and beat a team that's at the top of this division, and really kind of give us something to talk about on the Northeast if they can get those 3 points away from home.
Megan, what's your game of the day?
So I am looking forward to the FC Austin Elite versus Alacranes Fort Worth. I think this is going to be a good matchup after we saw them play just last week, tying 1-1. So can they get revenge 1 week later? That's a tough turnaround. FC Austin Elite lost 3-0 against the Athenians at the start of the season. So I think they're going to be pretty disappointed with how they've actually started this season. And I think this could be the match where they turn it around. I really hope it is. Soccer Sisters from Unity. I think that this is the time for them to do it, and I think they're going to be hungry, and I think they're going to be ready. And so I'm shooting for a 2-0 Austin Elite. I put them in my top 4 at the start of this season, so I'm really hoping they're going to start getting some points here. What are you guys thinking?
See, that's where I'm at too, Jonathan. I mean, I think, did we all have them in our top? I think we all had them in our final 4. That was the one continuity.
We also didn't know about San Antonio. We didn't know that they were going to come out and be hot. And look, Side FC Sign FC has come out hot. They've put up 12 with 0 against. So there's a lot of things we didn't know about that conference, and this is just starting to show.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the deepest conferences I think that we have. That and the Midwest are just stacked, man. It's really hard to pick between those sides. But I mean, Megan brings up a great point. This is, kind of like last resort for FC Austin Elite to really get 3 points against a team that's capable and put themselves back in the playoff mix. If they lose these 3 points at home, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say the title's not in their grasp this year. They've already lost 3-0 to a thing. I mean, it's just so early on. But I mean, that's 2 losses and a draw because they've already drawn against Alacranes, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that's 1 point from 3 games against teams that you have to beat, in that top 3 realm to win that division. That just they need these 3 points that badly.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose today's match. That's for sure. I think for me, the match that I'm most curious about is the Chicago Mustangs. How are they going to respond? First game, not only their first game, but it's at Keyworth, and the Northern Guard. Sorry, I'm going. Northern Guard is going to be out, and they've had extra fireworks and smoke for today because they didn't get to use it at Corktown. So I'm interested to see, because Detroit City FC has begun its campaign, 3 consecutive wins, 11 goals, 3 against. How does the Mustangs disrupt the momentum? How do they establish a foundation for their own season with all the extra that's going on around the pitch, not just what's on the pitch? And look, you've got Sarah Hughie with a black eye. She's ready to go. She's never had a black eye from what she says on IG. Now she's got one. She's got a little extra meanness streak to her, perhaps. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens after this diving header. Can she come out with another golazo from those 3 that came out? But hey, before we start trickling further into the show, let's talk with Olivier Felpa and Jamie Erickson. And in our highlighted matches today, we actually are excited to introduce the match for Lone Star Republic versus the San Antonio Athenians tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time in Arlington, Texas. This match has been changed. It was originally scheduled to be at Green Hill School just outside of Dallas, but has moved to Summit High School just outside of Arlington. So joining me tonight from the Athenians, I have Olivier Felpa and Jamie Erickson, who is the captain of the Athenians. You guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate it. How's everything going?
Good morning, Jonathan. It's going well.
Things are good, yeah.
Ready to play?
You're ready to play. You guys have a bit of a travel ahead of you. You guys have a 4-hour journey ahead. But hey, Olivier, what should we expect from the women today as we gear up for kickoff at 8 p.m. Central in Dallas?
Well, we expect to survive the drive because it's Memorial Day weekend, so we plan between 4 and 7 hours to get there. But after that, it's the big mystery. I mean, as you said, Lone Star Republic, first game of the season for them. We don't know anything about them, so it makes it very interesting. I think it should be a question for our captain. How do you prepare for a game like this?
I mean, every game's the same. The ball has to go in the net, and that's kind of what you got to go back to. You can prepare all day long for what you can expect, but teams come out different anyways. So I think you just play your game and let the rest handle itself.
So, Jamie, I have to ask, being the captain of the Athenian squad, you guys are 2-0. You have a goal differential of 8. Tell us what it's been like with this new team heading into your 3rd game of the season now.
It's been really great. I mean, coming in from Canada, the club's been really good. All the staff, the players, the coaches, it's been a real warm welcome for me. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I think just the way the team has come together in the short preseason we had, and just working hard, kind of sticking true to the coaches' philosophies and putting those into motion. And yeah, we've been on the good side of a couple score lines, but that's kind of in the past now. We got to just keep focusing on the next game ahead.
Well, speaking of next games, you guys have a lot of competition coming up with the Houston Dash on Tuesday. And then in 2 weeks' time, Club America makes an appearance in San Antonio. Olivier, tell us a little bit more about this and what fans should expect with the stream on Tuesday, and then obviously the game against Club America.
Yeah, it's been interesting to deal with the Houston Dash. They've been very nice. Coach Clarkson told us about 6 weeks ago that he was okay about playing the game. It was just about after that dealing with the league and making sure we could turn that scrimmage into something a little bit more official. Having a stream is one thing, getting all the players tested for COVID, having official referees. It's not easy, they just. So thank you to the Dash for making that happen. We are very excited. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for the city of San Antonio because that's really why we're playing. I mean, it has to be way more than just playing a league and trying to win the league. We're already trying to develop women's soccer in San Antonio. And that kind of game is, it's a little bit of the cherry on the cake. So, of course, they're the top dog. Of course, they're going to treat that as a scrimmage. But maybe we can poke at them a little bit and see what we can do.
Jamie, what's
I was going to say with America after that, to answer your question fully, it just, opportunity happen all the time in this business. And it was one we couldn't pass on because the same having the opportunity to expose the girls, and the club as well to professional soccer, it's a fantastic opportunity. And we're going to rent a stadium for the America game. And I know there's a huge, huge America support in San Antonio. So we're talking a few thousand of fans. It's going to be something very good.
Jamie, what's it like for you to have this opportunity to play against two professional sides during the summer?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, coming down here, my main goal to come down here was to play soccer, just with the COVID situation in Canada. And I mean, that's already happening. But then to have these opportunities, which, I mean, if you turn the right heads, this can be life-changing, right, in your soccer career. So that's super exciting.
So, Jamie, I have to ask, how do you make sure that you guys are mentally and physically prepared to play after being in the car for almost 4 to maybe 7 hours, weather permitting, obviously, and travel? If you're paying attention behind Olivier and Jamie right now, you can see the lightning crack as they get ready to travel in that. How do you stay top notch and ready to go without any idea if this game's going to happen or not?
Well, I think you got to always prepare. I've always been a big believer you control what you can control, and the rest you just got to adapt to. And I know for me, like, there's been games where they get canceled last minute. You travel through weather, and maybe the weather turns out fine by the time kickoff comes around, or maybe not. You have to play through some weather that's not favorable. But I think at the end of the day, you just got to keep the focus on the game, and you prepare like it's going ahead, and you just keep going.
Olivia, did you see this early success? 2 games in, 8 goal differential. The only team that's done more is Side FC with 12. But did you see this this early success in the club when you put it together?
Well, that's such a tricky question, Jonathan. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're asking a French guy. Of course I did. You're asking the manager of Athenians. No, we're very, very surprised by all this. You say when you put a team together, and that's my first time dealing with women's soccer, there's a lot of differences. We're still talking about soccer and players, so it's the same dynamics. But what has been immensely surprising is the level of the players. And we did very well getting the right one. There's no doubt about that. It took us about 1 practice to realize that we were going to do much better than, we anticipated. I don't know if we anticipated anything. We just wanted to jump in and see what we can do. But in the middle of that practice, we kind of looked at each other saying, oh, yeah. Because they were oozing soccer. The speed of the play and everything was there. And as Jamie said, the connection was there very, very quickly with that team. Can we sustain for the entire season? That's the challenge, We don't have all the answers. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So, yes, I was joking earlier. I'm very, very surprised by all this. But it's 1 game at a time. That's going to be our first game on the road. So there's nothing guaranteed at any time, any game. It's a different animal. So one game at a time, Jonathan. Yeah.
So what do you guys expect from Lone Star today? Seeing that this is their first competitive match, how do you prepare for the unexpected, for the unknown, I should say? non-no.
I'm going to answer that one because I think Jamie just said, you control what you can control. And that's not a very, very sexy answer. It's, it's kind of boring, but that's the reality of team sport. You make sure that all the players are thinking about that game and only that game. Because yes, Houston Dash is coming in 4 days. We have 2 tough games in 4 days. We don't want to talk about Houston. We take care of Dallas, and we're going to move on to the next one, and we're going to do it together. We're going to travel together. We have a lot of miles ahead of us. And to me, that's the biggest concern, is make sure nobody gets tired or hurt. And as you say, driving, Texas is a big, big state. So we're going to spend a lot of hours on the road in the next few days. That's the challenge.
So, Jamie, I have to ask, what was the intensity like in training? Obviously, the weather, again, you can see the lightning in the background. What was the intensity like in the training session building up to this last night for these potential circumstances that may come around of a game, no game, game in worse weather, game in better weather? How are you prepared for it?
Well, I think it's just about taking every opportunity, making the most of it. Every chance you get on net, it's got to be on target. You got to make the most of it, because especially when you're especially battling the elements and rain, wind, whatever there might be, you just got to be ready. And you know that we have a quality side, so there's going to be the chances that come up, and it's just about putting them in the back of the net and making the most of them when they come.
Olivier, how many kick guys are you bringing to make sure uniforms are dry and everybody's not logged down?
Probably not enough. There's a limit to the amount of people we can get and the amount of material we can get in those 2 vans. It's last weekend I had to change 4 times for the game against CTX. It's been a very wet season in Texas, so we'll be wet. We'll play the game. We'll have fun, and we'll move on.
Well, Jamie, Olivier, I really appreciate you guys giving me the time. I know you have some traveling to do, so I wish you the best of luck today, and hope you guys have safe travels and come home with a good result.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers, you two. All right. So thoughts and takeaways from Olivier and Jamie as they give us some insight into today's match. There we go.
Now that I have a microphone that works, I literally just started talking and I was sitting there on the floor. But no, I mean it's interesting because you listen to them talk and you can tell it's like such a homegrown operation. Like they're just kind of there doing it themselves, but at the same time they have this expectation of excellence. Like you just hear it in the nonchalance with which they talk. Like, yeah, we were pretty surprised to beat FC Austin Elite 3-0. Now we're just gonna keep beating everybody else. It's like, dude, okay, but like, wow, that's kind of cool. Just the mindset, the mentality. To a degree, they were surprised, I'm sure, and we talked about that as well. But at the same time, there's certain people that just have that motivation and that expectation that they're going to win sooner or later. Maybe it came a little bit sooner than most of us expected, but I think they always would have backed themselves to be at this level and to be in this conversation of quality. So cool to see that effort and that work paying off for them.
Megan?
Yeah, definitely a very focused team. They know what they can control, and that's kind of what they concern themselves with. So you can tell from captain and coach, you've got a very calm demeanor from them both. And I think that's kind of translating throughout to their players so that they're not that nervous going into these games. They know what they can control, and that's what they're going to focus on, and they go out and it's proving to work. So I think they've got like a good atmosphere within their team.
I think for the most important thing to think about, right, is their camaraderie. Everybody's kind of staying together within 5 minutes of each other. They're doing a lot of off-field activities. They've got matches to look forward to with Club America and with the Houston Dash, which, look, when you have those opportunities to play against a high-caliber opponent like the Dash and like Club America, even if on international break, Club America is still going to bring an A and B team. Austin Elite gets to face them as well. I think this is an opportunity for these women to, one, rise to the occasion, to show their ability, and also, potentially have a good showing to get a few eyes on them against 2 high caliber clubs.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for these players. They just have to take what they can get. Don't be nervous going into this game. Just go out there, show what you can do, and it's an amazing opportunity. And not every club gets that opportunity, so they're extremely, extremely blessed to have that opportunity for sure.
Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's an opportunity that comes around for some and not for others, and when it does come around for you, it's rare, and you only have it for a small window. So for those who are way better at soccer than I ever was, go take it, go play in that level.
Well, hey, let's highlight some players. So, Danny, who do you have for Lone Star Republic? And Megan, maybe you have somebody as well that stands out. I know I have one, but you can't. I mean, it's the coach who is also a player. But Danny, who are you looking for today to kind of make an impression on UWS?
I am making this choice for two reasons. One, I think Jackie mentioned her as somebody to keep an eye on the back line. Two, her name is fantastic, and it's sad that I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to try. Michaela Oyukpegi, I think, is the best I can come up with there. But she is on the back line. Also played midfielder, I think, in Little Rock. So she grew up in Garland, Texas, in that Dallas area. Really kind of a hometown player. She grew up playing in the Dallas Sting system. Went to Garland High School, played there. Set a lot of records, impressed a lot of people over there. That got her a 4-year run-in with the Arkansas Little Rock women's soccer team, playing with the Trojans up there. So was setting some records, well, not records, but making a name for herself, adding to the resume. Played between 2013 and 2016 on that roster. And in 2016, as a senior, she was all Sun Belt second team. And that's a really high quality conference for soccer in NCAA Division I. So clearly has plenty of accolades, plenty of experience playing. And it's that type of player who hasn't been around for a couple of years, playing in a space where she's visible, like Division I or growing up in the club system. That's the type of player that makes me really excited, because you bring in LSR, on the women's side, and now there's an opportunity for Michaela to get back out there and play again on a more visible scale. There's players like that just fall beneath the cracks, and once they finish their college career, where are they going to go? Other than playing cash tournaments. Now to have a more structured season for us to be able to watch her, and to see her continue to play. I mean, because she's now, 5 years removed from graduating school. I guarantee you she's still at a high level of quality, and she's got a stamina that's going to rival anybody who's just coming off of their, freshman season in college. So it's going to be so cool to watch a player like her get to kind of come out and just ball out, have a little bit more experience than a lot of other players in the team and in the opposition as well. She's going to be one of those players that they'll look to on the back line. And I'm interested because she played midfield. She played forward at Little Rock in college, and now she's realized it as a defender. So assuming that's not like a typo or anything, I'm excited to see if maybe she's an outside back who's going to push up and create something in the attack. With her experience, I like throwing her in a defensive place in the team. I love having defenders who are capable positionally and who have just kind of seen enough of the game to know just kind of almost instinctually where to be. So I'm very excited about Michaela, both for her last name's sake and because she's got a pretty cool player profile that it'll be cool to see what she comes up with.
Megan, do you have anybody that comes to mind for Lone Star Republic? I know we don't have very much because it's kind of like a secret society of sorts, but do you have anybody?
I don't have any particular names, but I think exactly what Danny said is going to be really interesting to see what these players bring. I think Michaela is a perfect example of somebody who maybe she's been put on that back line just because of that resume of experience. You need leaders at these brand new clubs. You need somebody who's been through it and can help these players rise up to the challenge, those newcomers, the freshmen. So yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. And then, like Jackie said, they've got a bunch of players who have played together. So how can that small-sided tournament style of play translate into a full 11-a-side summer season? That's going to be really interesting to see too. So I'm looking forward to the matchup.
So for me, I have to go with 2008. I'm going back in time. 2008, number 8, Los Angeles Soul of the WPS pick. I got to go Casey Lloyd. She won 2 national championships with North Carolina. She has a few call-ups to the national team, and she's been around the game. Obviously, 2008, the WPS was kind of hit and miss on certain entities because the game was still growing as it related to pro soccer for women. But Casey Lloyd has the experience. She's the technical director, along with her husband, Zach, and she is doing great things with Lone Star. She's coaching. She's getting fined for showing up late. She's getting she has the resume to be successful, and she's still putting boots on to get out there and play. So again, we don't have very much as it relates to the club, but we do have experience. We do have history with Casey Lloyd. So those are my players. Let's talk about San Antonio a little bit. So for San Antonio, obviously they have a laundry list of names. I mean, you could pick anybody who has some form of experience. They have Canadian internationals. They have Fern internationals. They have college freshmen who are amazing. They have sisters who are just balling right now. Where do we go? Danny?
I mean, I don't know. All of the above, like you mentioned, so many different aspects there. It's hard to choose one. I'm torn on this one. This is, when you can point to 3-4 different aspects of this, like that's what makes this league cool is, it's not as, one-dimensional as we've seen other women's leagues be in the past. You've got so many storylines to kind of investigate. It's also cool to see us be able to kind of dissect those here. But I mean, I can't decide.
So I think for me, I have to go Blair Curry. For those of you who aren't aware, Blair Curry was a member of the history-making New Zealand side, the under-17 women's team that placed 3rd in the U17 Women's World Cup in Uruguay. She's attending Seton Hall, where she's the backstop there, and she has eyes on becoming the Ferns' #1 keeper as she grows up. And remember, they have a World Cup that they're hosting here pretty soon, so she's got a little bit of added pressure. She's played 1 match. She gave up a goal that was an own goal, but they seem to be trading off. I don't know who gets the start. Is it Wildman? Is it Curry? Who's starting today? But I think for Curry, this is a great opportunity for her to kind of step up and show what she's capable of at a big stage. Playing Lone Star Republic, is this a match that she goes out and just completely dominates? Is she, given an opportunity to start? Does she come in as a sub? All those questions come to mind. But I have to ask, one of the big things, and they made it very public, they brought in a Golden Boot winner with Jillian Martinez, the UCLA product. Do we see her this weekend? She has not featured yet. Do we get an opportunity to see her? And if we do, does she score a goal?
Oh, man. I would imagine we would. Surely with all the publicity that they put around it and knowing that she's got that pedigree, you'd imagine she'd see the field today in a match that she's probably going to be needed in. Is my expectation, especially, against a team that we've already heard is going to high press. That you need a central striker like that who can score goals and just positionally change the way that other team plays. When you've got somebody like that who just their name and their reputation carries weight, and you watch the way they move and they're just that smart, like it changes how much you can press the way you want to, because you've always got to have eyes in the back of your head as a center back. If I'm leading that team and I'm seeing the field, I'm like, listen, I get that we're pressing, but I need those midfielders back in front of me 10 yards so I can drop with this player. Otherwise, pressing is great, but we're going to get caught out 5 times and lose 5-0. So, I mean, it changes, and you've got these kind of like a good central striker is going to force the 3, positional, areas of the team to have to really work to figure stuff out in a way that they wouldn't have to otherwise, especially with a high press. So I would think we'd see her in the lineup. Who knows? They've got a lot of players to call on. A lot of depth. So we'll see if she does get in that match. I think she'll definitely have plenty of opportunities to get through that back line just because they'll be intent on scoring. I know Tyler and I know that club, and they like to score goals. They like to make it look fun and pretty and exciting. And they're going to be putting all of their effort into goal scoring. I think if they do put her in, Jillian's going to have a chance to knock some in the back of the net today.
Megan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. Whether she starts or not, I still see her getting lots of chances at goal. We saw last week Channing Borden came off the bench and scored 2 goals. So it's very, very easy for those Athenians to come in and just slot straight in, raise that tempo, and feel part of the team. There's no, oh, I'm coming off the bench, how do I fit in? I don't know if I can do this. No, that squad has so much depth that those players coming in, they're ready, they're hungry. So even if she does come off the bench, I see her scoring. I see the Athenians working so well together. They get the ball out wide, they cross it in, somebody taps it into the back of the net. These are well-worked team goals. But Gillian also has the capability to take it solo and to use her speed and to go for it herself. So I see a few opportunities for her, whether she starts or whether she comes off the bench.
Well, we'll see. Definitely. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central, Summit High School, Lone Star Republic, San Antonio Athenians. Hey, let's move into the team of the week, Megan. We have a goal of the week candidate. It's the only one we got. Unfortunately, the video, we couldn't really tell the goal, but if you watch it, it was from Enna Sabanagic from the Kicks of Chicago. The goal was sent in from their fans. However, that was the only goal for week 3 that we got in submission. So, hey, teams, if you want a goal of the week feature, send those to us. We got to get them. We got to get them so we can get that up. So we have Sarah Hughey's diving header goal already for week 5 or week 4 queued up. So, maybe we have a couple coming from the matches today. But Megan, go ahead and lead us. What do we got team of the week wise? What happened? Internet.
So yeah, we had team of the week come out yesterday, I think it was. Let me.
I got you. You wrote it in the notes, so we'll be there for you. All right, I'll take it. We'll talk about it. So the third week of UWS action brought numerous outstanding individual performances to the forefront. Oh, you're there. You got it. All right, take it away.
So Maddie Wolfe's trio of goals involvement for Detroit City led her to the nomination for Offensive Player of the Week. And then Trinity Watson's influence in the Santa Clarita Blue Heat clean sheet earned her Defensive Player of the Week honors. I was really excited to see that SC Blue Heat game, and they won that 5-0, I think it was. And it was a solid defensive performance, and I'm not surprised by this honor at all. They looked extremely strong, and I honestly feel quite smug sat here that I put them in my top 4, and neither of you two did.
Didn't.
Little disappointed right now. FC Buffalo, if you're listening, I need you to redeem me ASAP, please.
Hey, Danny, so in this list, I mean, Paige Eli, we've talked about Paige. We've said she's going to be there week in, week out. She makes the list again. She was a defensive anchor for Midwest United, helping her side with a 3-2 win over Muskegon. But, this past week we had Enna Sabanagic on from Chicago Kicks. She played a crucial role, scored a goal once, provided 2 assists, and essentially won. Well, I won't say she won, but was instrumental in the Kicks' first win in UWS. Was there anybody else that stood out to you in the side?
Well, I'm glad you brought her up. Looking at Chicago Kicks, that's a big win, and I definitely can't pronounce her name, but had a very important part. And I mean, we're all going to talk about Maddie Wolfbauer, right? I mean, her was it a goal and 2 assists, I think, or maybe the other way around. But I mean, she obviously had a big impact in a bigger. It was 2 goals and 1 assist.
2 goals and 1 assist.
Okay. But no, so I mean, obviously when you're involved that directly in the attack, and that's all 3 goals, in a 3-0 win in a game that had all the headlines, right? Hey, New Jersey Copa, love to see them. But when you have all those headlines there, and there's NGS there, and there's everything around that match, of course, we'll be talking about Maddie for delivering on that big stage. But obviously those 3 goal involvements for Blue, was it? Yeah, no, for Blue Heat. I mean, that's just as important. That's just as crucial. And it's when you do that behind the scenes, I like to give credit to that too. And it's really cool to see that she gets the honor she deserves in the team of the week for me.
Seeing that, New Jersey Copa is chiming in here. I want to give a shout out to Sydney Cummings. How often do you have a defensive player holding a clean sheet, but also coming forward to score on a header? So, and it's the winning goal, by the way, against Rochester that happened this past week. So shout out to Cindy Cummings for kind of putting herself up and getting that honor. Hey, Cindy, now I want a bicycle kick. If you're going to score a header from the back line, I need a bicycle kick today. That would be awesome. I know you got it in you. So, hey, listen, we don't have goal of the week. We don't have save of the week. We didn't get any of those videos in. So again, teams, if you're watching, please make sure you get those videos in. You can send them to @UWS_weekly DMS, or you can send me an email, jward@uwssoccer.com. Please make sure you guys get those in so we can get the highlighted for you starting next week. But storylines, look, I got to go back. Let's go back to May 23rd. It was a while ago. There was a tweet sent out by Corktown, and I'm kind of hyping the rivalry even more, but Corktown sent a tweet out supporting Lansing United after the loss to Detroit City 6-1. They said, shout out to Lansing United women. Keep your heads high. You have what it takes to win, and you'll bounce back from this. #resilience, #bounce back, #head high. Now, after the match the other night, the 3-0 win by Detroit City, their supporters group sent out the same message to Corktown saying, shout out to Corktown. Keep your heads high. You have what it takes to win, and you'll bounce back from this. Look, can you poke the bear enough? Megan, come on. We talked about this on Thursday.
Yeah, let's just say #savage. I love it. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's great from Detroit. Like, let's add this fire. Like, let's get it going. I mean, the original tweet. How do you guys feel about this? If I was Lansing, I would be a little bit offended by it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think you need to get that encouragement from the opposition. That's not quite where you're looking to get that words of encouragement from.
Danny, your thoughts on that, man?
That's a good point. Because I mean, you look at this and you're like, man, that's almost too harsh from NGS. But at the same time, maybe a little bit, and maybe not purposefully, but kind of a bit of the slap in the face from Corktown originally. It's funny because, like, I don't know. I love to see the Darby aspect. I don't want it to get, to a point where we're just kind of taking shots at each other and we're not worried about the match anymore. But I think where we're at right now is fantastic. Kind of like really driving storylines and making things fun. And you better believe those managers are hearing from their owners, go out and win this match. And they're going to relay that to their players, go out and win this match, who are also watching this Twitter war erupt too. And so they're going to go out and do their best to win that match too. It really is going to mean more. And I mean, we've talked about it before. It's every possible element for a great derby. And it's two authentic soccer clubs in an American soccer scene where there's a lot of teams who just put 11 players on the field and give them the opportunity to play. There's a rare few clubs who are just genuinely like, they're soccer clubs as well. They have their own identity. They have a culture. They have fans. It's just a different level. These are two of those clubs, and they're right next to each other. It's a treat for us to watch and for them to have that kind of friendly or not so friendly rivalry. And wherever NGS goes, there's going to be a firestorm.
Megan, you had some other points for storylines today. You want to share what you had for storylines?
Yeah, so we also had some previous UWS players who have now moved on and are playing in the NWSL. So former SC Blue Heat forward Ashley Sanchez scored an absolute banger, which you can see over on the UWS Twitter page, for the Washington Spirit in their 2-1 victory over Houston Dash. And we also saw former UWS national champion Taylor Cornier get an assist for Alex Morgan's first goal in the Orlando Pride's match, which was another 2-1 victory. So yeah, it's great to see these players moving on from the game, and it just shows you the kind of players UWS is producing. We have players who can play at that top level in the NWSL. They can score, they can assist, and I think that's just such a testimony to this league.
Danny, any other storyline kind of catch your eye today as it relates to matches?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, and we've talked about it before, but, looking at the clubs that we haven't seen yet, I mean, especially we talk about Chicago Mustangs. First match of the season, hello, welcome to the league, play Detroit City, away. it's going to set the tone for their season playing a team that's that good. We haven't seen anybody really challenge Detroit yet. And it really, this is more or less our last hope for somebody to, if we're looking to see, anybody take Detroit, it's probably going to have to be Chicago Mustangs, who we haven't seen yet. They're a big question mark. We'll see if they can provide something fun and stay competitive, or if it turns into a Muskegon type result. We don't know. It really has the potential to do that if they don't show up. So there's that. And I mean, we talked obviously a lot about LSR, their first match of the season, and they've got a big welcome to the league not kind of moment where they take on a lot of quality and Athenians. So those type of matches, there's not a whole lot of them left. Really, it's just the Southeast now, I think, after this week that hasn't kicked off fully. So this last week, this last round of new teams coming in and kind of changing the vibe, changing the environment of these regions and their league tables.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what Brooklyn City does. I want to see if Brooklyn City can continue. They're playing Lancaster. This is a good tune-up match. Brooklyn, if you are who you're saying you are with your results, today is a continuation, and you go out and you make sure you do what you're supposed to do and come out with a win. But you never know. It could be one way or another. So hey guys, Austin FC Elite Club America, June 18th. I'm excited for it. Tuesday, June 1st, Dash Athenians. I'm excited for it. And then I believe it's the 16th, Athenians Club America. I'm excited for that too. Lots of soccer coming up for UWS sides outside of just our regular scheduled programming. I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too. Those are some really high quality friendlies, and always cool to see that kind of professional UWS partnership continuing to grow. And as we know, there's potential in the works for professional UWS as well. So it's always cool to see, that UWS continues to affiliate itself with, the professional level of play. It's always cool to see. And you love to watch, the top teams in this league get that chance to show themselves against, Club America. What bigger name is there in Texas in soccer than Club America? There just isn't one. So it's cool to see. Excited for that.
So who do we have today? So we got two matchups to get us warmed up. Manchester City, Chelsea. I can't go either way because I'm a Manchester United fan, but if I had to choose, I like Pep. I like what Pep does. He plays a great style of soccer. It's very passionate football. I hope Man City can pull it out. I don't know. It hurts to say it. It's almost as bad as friends of mine who say PSG and Lyon, but I don't know. I want to see Pep win it, and then he'll retire and move on because that's what he does.
Will he though? I don't know. I think he's got some more time at Man City still, but no. I mean, for me, I hate both teams. I don't care. I'm just gonna watch it. Hopefully, it's good soccer. I think the more deserving team as far as the type of soccer they play is probably City. Who is touching them this year with the way that they play and just the control that they have of the ball? Everything is intentional. It looks like Liverpool, a couple of years ago, or really last year too. It's just so technical and almost like mechanical, surgical with how well they move, how well they pass. It's just brilliant to watch. So I'm looking forward to be treating myself to some of that, on the biggest stage in the world. And as an underdog fan, I'm hoping Chelsea pulls it out.
Megan?
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a good game. Honestly, I don't have, attachments to either of these clubs. It's all about Watford.
They're both small compared to our club.
Yeah, but who doesn't love Champions League? Watford will be in there one day. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to a great game. Definitely going to be watching that along with all our UWS matches this weekend. So, Summer of Soccer, we love it.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say this right now. Brentford, today's your day, Brentford. We're good. They're gonna get promoted. Brentford's getting promoted. Swansea City, Brentford. Let's go, Brentford.
I'd love to see that. Honestly, I'd love to see that.
Well, hey, we can send them back down.
No, they're not. Brentford's gonna win the look. That's the AFC Richmond of the year. Let's go. Ted Lasso's jumping on the.
Love a Ted Lasso reference.
Yeah. Well, hey, Morgan scored the goal and had the Ted Lasso dance. So you just never know, right? Hey, so thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope that you enjoyed the show. We're excited about everything that is UWS and UWS2. We hope you are as well. Don't forget to follow the show, our hosts on social media. We look forward to seeing you all next Saturday for another kickoff show powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. And until then, cheers, everyone.